Beneath the golden glow of ancient ruins, Rome stands timeless, a city where history and modern life entwine. Every cobblestone street whispers stories of emperors, artists, and show jumpers. And today they shall do the same about the world's greatest show jumpers. From the Colosseum to hidden piazzas to this here Cerco Massimo, Circus Maximus, for stage 14 of the Global Champions League. Championships up for grabs, fighting for survival, criteria and dozens of possible outcomes. Here we find ourselves for yet another magnificent stage of the GCL. Welcome to the city of Rome, and welcome to what is going to be a spectacular day of show jumping. What better way to then start today's show with the team, with a man who was successful here last year in 2024. In fact, has been successful all over the world, but we bring him here as a defending champion of Rome in 2024. The fantastic Michael van der Vleuten comes to join us, winners of Rome. Good memories 12 months ago of what happened over here?
Yeah, that's correct. We had actually a fantastic GCL win last year here in Rome. So fantastic memories about that. I know this year it's a new show again, and but again we try to get the best form here, and hopefully we can get the same results as last year.
I think we've become used to, Michael, a couple stages where maybe you think it's a clean sheet stage, maybe it's a stage where you expect fences to fall. Last year, Madrid Emotion won this on a clean sheet. Is it fair to say that a ring like this is expecting clean sheets to win, or is it maybe expecting some fences to fall? What kind of ground does Rome generally provide?
Yeah, I think first of all the arena, I think it's a beautiful size to ride in for the horses. It's an arena that you can really jump out of a good rhythm, which make the horses way more easy. The footing seems to be very well this year, and but okay, it's the course designer also knows this, and try to make it also this year as difficult as possible for us.
Last year it was you and Edu were jumping clear. We know that Victor had a great day on the Longines Global Champions Tour, the Grand Prix, going on to win there. Today it's you and Victor. The great story is that between all of these Madrid Emotion riders, there's some kind of success story that comes out of Rome. Is there any way to draw inspiration from 2024, or is it just a great story and you put it in the back pocket and come here as a fresh day?
Well, I think it's more that we have the good memories here in Rome, but I think we also know all three that that this is a different year. We also have different horses, not all of the horses, but also some new ones. So it's gonna be different, and but as I said, we tried our best to bring the horses here in the best shape, and we have to stay focused both rounds and see how far we can get.
Talk to us about who's in the stable this week for Michael van der Vleuten, because when I think about Michael, I think about O'Bailey, I think about Alwicki, I think about Beauville. You bring a young 9-year-old stallion to Rome, if I'm not mistaken, hasn't jumped in a GCL before, jumped last week in Vienna. Give us thoughts on who you have here and what leads to Quastor being selected this week.
Yeah. So basically, we try to bring one horse out of our best group to perform well here in the Grand Prix. But also sometimes we try to bring up some new talented horses. And this, as you said, this week I have a 9-year-old. To correct, it's a gelding.
Oh, apologies.
But it's not correct in the passport. But no, Quastor van der Heffing. It's owned by Tal Milstein, and it's a horse that I think has the right talent and the potential to grow up in this level, and someday it has to be the first time, you know, and that's today. So let's see if the horse can surprise me with a good result and hopefully he will be useful for the coming events.
Were you happy with how he jumped as an individual in Vienna? Did he show
of course. We had an unlucky fault. Maybe it's a bit the experience he's missing at this level. But as I said, the horses, they need to get their chance, and I think he's able to perform well today.
Okay, well, Michael van der Vleut and Victor Bettendorf jump GCL round 1 for Madrid in Motion today. Champions in 2024, looking to repeat that and have another great year 12 months later as we find ourselves once more at Circo Massimo here in Rome for the next stage of the Global Champions League. Best of luck to Madrid in Motion. Best of luck to Michael van der Vleut, and we'll see him and Victor Bettendorf coming out 9th just before the break later on today. Before we get stuck into the rest of today's program, let's remind you as to where we find ourselves. This incredible city once again plays host to us, and we sent Dan Strange out on a bit of an exploration of the city of Rome.
Rome, the eternal city where every stone tells its own story, right at the heart of the ancient empire. This is a place where spectacle has always been central to everyday life. The Colosseum, once a stage for epic battles, roaring crowds and plenty of drama. Just a few steps away is Roman Forum, which socially and politically was the centre of the city. From speakers and merchants to senators too, everyone crossed these streets. It's impossible to walk anywhere without stumbling upon history. Up there is Colle Palatino, the Palatine Hill, where as legend would have it, Romulus founded Rome in 753 BC. It's where emperors built their palaces, and of course, where from those palaces they could hear the roar from the stadium we're about to rediscover. And here we are at Circus Maximus, once the home of chariot races, now ready to welcome the world's best riders and horses. A stage which combines precision, passion and elegance, with memories made to last for eternity.
You talk about history, you talk about culture, you talk about age and depth and experience. Well, then there is arguably nowhere better to be than here in the city of Rome for the upcoming stage of the Global Champions League. The big conversation now becomes, what was the impact of the previous stage? What brings us to this point here in Rome today? There was far less sunshine and far less warm weather in the previous stage, and despite some rain and some woolen beanies, the action was still fantastic. Let's take you back then to the previous stage and remind you as to what happened in Vienna, Austria.
Welcome back. It's the second part of the Global Champions League. We're in Vienna. Riesenbeck International, powered by Horse Gym. Christian Kukuk comes back on George. Last fence coming up. This is quick also. Here we go. Where's he going to finish up? 76.19. So now he hands over. Philip Wysett, Oreo DR. And another clear round for his team. Riesenbeck International. That's a strong showing from them. Valkenswaard United. Marcus up first with Pram de Rosset. It's the 14-year-old by Put Blue. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see he's making the adjustment. Finishes up, clear round for Hans-Dieter Dreyer. Can he keep it together now? He's a 16-year-old by Balabé de Rouet. Whoa, has a front trail off with the hind legs is really unusual. They finish up on 8 penalties. Prague Lions. This is a horse he rode in the first competition as well. He had a clear round obviously on that occasion. He wants to double up now and have a double clear. He did that in Valkenswaard. Can he do it again? Here's Brick, last fence. Here we go, pressure's on. 79.68. Peter the Boss. Back rail now supports 1, 2, 3, 4 strides. Helps it off the front. We're inside the time. We now have a team on 0 and Arena Runberg. As you can hear, the arena's gone so quiet. Let's see what happens. I think we're in trouble. We're already in trouble. We have a winner.
Yeah, we're very happy. Our horses jumped really good both rounds. So yeah, we couldn't ask for a better outcome.
We needed to perform here to get again some points for that playoff ranking, which is so important, and we managed it. So very nice.
What a season this is turning out to be for the Prague Lions, powered by the Czech equestrian team. Once again, Fernando Martinez Soma jumping superbly. And once again, those riders from the Prague Lions getting maximum points, now finding themselves in third and are becoming a real story for the GCL Super Cup semi-finals. That, of course, comes later on in the GC Prague playoffs in November. What is the impact of Vienna now? That becomes the big question. What is the result of that stage in Vienna that brings us to Rome for stage 14? Valkenswaard United, the current championship leaders, holding on to a ever so slight advantage over Kunststars, powered by the Iron Dames, the defending champions. What a great storyline that is. Two-time winners now over the Kunststars, who are looking to become two-time winners themselves. Prague Lions, we mentioned, the Shanghai Swans starting to lose a bit of steam, but do not take your eye off Razorback International, powered by Horse Gym. We know they like to finish strong. Madrid Emotion, we heard from Michael van der Vleuten just a few moments ago. A good performance here today, like they did in 2024, can catapult them into a top 4 conversation. And FECI's Istanbul Warriors, powered by the Carpe Diem equestrian team, are still chasing this dream of a top 4, top 5 finish. But that is what it currently looks like at the top of the standings at the end of Vienna. This is what the championship race looks like. As we head on to the second page, all sorts of problems for the Paris Panthers, who, as it stands, will play no part in the GCL Super Cup later on this year. The Monaco Comets unable to relive the dream that we saw of their fellow teammates of the Kunststars. It has been a tough season for them as they get to find their feet. We've heard a lot from the Monaco Comets riders who said that Deborah Meyer has given them time. She is patient with the project and does not expect instant success, despite it happening with the Kunststars in 2024. The big question now is, how does that potentially look in a couple of weeks' time? There are so many scenarios. There are so many different ways this can play out. Victory here for this team, an elimination for that team, still with 3 stages to come here in Rome and Rabat and in Riyadh. There are arguably 1,000 ways that this can go. Luckily, we have giant supercomputers that help us explain these scenarios. It is our job to break it down, to simplify it, and to deliver a more chewable example. Dan Strange joins us in the studio to have a conversation. Dan, we've created a graphic to try and simplify this. I need your help in understanding.
I was going to say, good luck.
I need your help in understanding this, because this takes a little bit of projection. It takes a little bit of the what-if game. Yep. Talk us through where we are now, what are the criteria we are basing this on, and what does this tell us?
So win percentage, win likelihood for Valkenswaard United at 52%. They can get over 300 points. They're the only team in the Global Champions League, Valkenswaard United, who can do that. The second round in Vienna was huge because Valkenswaard United managed to get themselves on the podium when Kunststars and Shanghai Swans slightly fell away, had bad rounds, it didn't go for them.
And the dream of GCL, Dan, is to perform well when those around you do not. That's what makes that Vienna performance so important.
Exactly. Now, if they average their 20 points per round, which they've been doing, it means Kunststars in second, you see 30% win percentage chance, have to score 75 points from 3 rounds. Now, put that in perspective. They're one of only 2 teams in the top 7 who haven't podiumed in the last 5 rounds. So their form for Kunststars is not where it needs to be. They have to make up 5 points a round on Valkenswaard United over the last 3 rounds, which includes here in Rome. Then dropping down to Prague Lions, the red-hot form team, they still have a 10% chance of winning this league. They won in Vienna, they won in Valkenswaard. They are absolutely red-hot form.
I feel like they deserve a little more, and I know this is what the numbers are telling us. It's not what you're deciding, but This is what the numbers are saying. But based on that form, based on this late climb, I'm fighting the supercomputers. Prague Lions need to be higher than that, surely. If they perform well again today, come on.
They've got to make up 10.33 points per round. which can sound like a lot, it cannot sound like a lot, but it is a lot, really, when you're having to do it consistently. 10.33 points per round on the two top teams is a lot. Then you've got Shanghai Swans. Now, they're a team whose form has dipped massively. Ben Mayer, 20 faults in round two.
Championship contenders for the first half of the season. They seem to have lost a bit of steam.
They won in London, and since London, it's not gone their way. And then Riesenbeck International, 3 podiums in a row. 3 podiums in a row.
Talk about late momentum for the Prague Lions. Riesenbeck are a team that have late momentum as well. And when you have both Weishaupt brothers, when you have Christian Kuckuck lying around, this is a team that, again, I argue, probably feel like they deserve a higher number than that.
No wins for Riesenbeck. But
and this is one of the criteria that goes into the supercomputer. You're asking why Riesenbeck are only at 6 when they have such a good team. This is being judged on so many different factors.
But 5 podiums. So what it means, what it boils down to, the championship is still wide open. Although Valkenswaard United are the top dogs, 14 points clear of Canstars, it's still wide open. The podium spots in the Global Championship still absolutely wide open. And that race for the top 4 to make the GCL Super Cup semi-final in Prague and the GC playoffs and not have to go through the quarterfinals, still wide open. Plus, of course, as you said, down at the bottom, Durham, Paris in their own mini battle to try and make it to Prague.
And the joy of all of this is that we can put into this supercomputer 1,000 different scenarios, and Team X could get eliminated in round 1 today, take home 0 points, another could win, and that graphic will completely change by the end of the night.
And when you look at it, when you think of that, if in round 1 especially there are eliminations of these top, it's not just top 5, of these top 7 teams. Madrid in Motion won here in Rome last year. They're in 6th. Basel Cosmopolitans, they're going well. 4th in Vienna. So if one of the top 4 get eliminated, it really brings the teams below into that equation and everything reshuffles.
Welcome to the world of show jumping, and that is just how and why it is so beautiful. It is never locked in. It is never guaranteed. Let's talk about that race for the crown and focus on those top 2 for a second. You have the defending champions in the Canstars going head-to-head with the current championship leaders, Valkenswaard United.
Guys, Valkenswaard United, it was a bit of a, not a let-off in Vienna, Hansi, but you got the podium in Vienna almost against the run of play, if that's the term to use. Is that how it felt?
Yeah, we were really surprised. We had 2 good rounds, I think. We had 8 points, but then in the second round it happened a lot, and we ended on the podium. Good.
The first time you've ended on the podium this year without a certain Gilles Thomas. Now, Gilles, you're back in this weekend. You're 14 points clear in the championship race. How much is it excitement looking ahead at potentially winning another GCL championship for Valkenswaard United? And how much is it anxiety of looking over the shoulder and hoping Canstars don't catch you?
Yeah, it's been a long season and every result counts, so it can go quick, but it also can go quick the good way. I think we are here, both of us, with our good horses. But yeah, now it's actually the season almost over, only 3 stages to come. So yeah, we are looking forward to Riyadh.
How has what you did last season helped you this year as you try and chase down Valkenswaard United?
Yeah, it of course helped a lot. We got a lot of experience last year and had a very good success over the whole season. Yeah, this year we're gaining or aiming again to get a lot of points, and yeah, at the moment we are 2nd. Hopefully we can gain some more points, and yeah, I think the goal in the end is to be on the podium, but maybe we can yeah, be on top again.
Hansi, when we look back at Vienna, going into that second round or coming into the back end of the second round, Canstars had the opportunity to make a big statement points-wise, and they didn't manage to do it. How much pressure, how much of a pressure cooker scenario has that put on them in second now?
Yeah, we have every class, right? We have pressure, and I think with the experience, the pressure goes a bit down, and yeah, we stay focused, but not be nervous.
In Vienna, the team rode really well, but took risks at the end and they didn't quite pay off. How big an opportunity was that missed?
Yeah, it was a big chance for us, but like you said, we are one team, and if one have not the good feeling, we have still to fight and to accept. So Anastasia I think she still had a good round, but we were missing points, and in the end, we are still second. But like you said, we had 2-3 shows where we could easily still stay in front. But yeah, this is the excitement of the show, of the classes.
Your founder was Jan Tops. What's he said to you in the background? What's been his word?
You have to ride clear today.
That's it?
That's it.
Just
easy.
one round at a time?
No, yeah, okay. He knows the sport. He's already so many years in the sport, so he knows also how it goes. But definitely before every round, he tries to motivate us. Yeah.
Deborah's a winner. We know that. She's also very, very close to her team and really tries to build you as a team. What has been her words of inspiration coming into this weekend and looking forward?
Well, we always know that there's no pressure from her side. And like you say, she's staying close to us, and in the end, it's in our hands. And yeah, we try to follow our dreams and to keep fighting till the end.
Last time in Vienna, you managed a podium without Gilles Thomas. This week, you've got him here, so surely that stacks the odds in your favour.
I think it's even easier. He's a clear round machine. I have to ride well, and then it works out.
Valkenswaard United having a conversation alongside the Kant Stars with the Iron Dames. We're having a chat to Dan Strange. The race for the crown, we are starting to refer to it as the two top teams towards these final stages of the 2025 season continue to go head-to-head in search of a GCL championship win. Course walk is officially underway. You'll see behind me, and the riders now officially getting their course walk underway. I've been seeing Uliana Vizzani, the course designer, with his team walking the strides, measuring everything to perfection. That is all ahead of GCL round 1 coming up in a few moments' time. Also, just an FYI, a magnificent day for a bunch of school kids that have come out. And can you imagine how fantastic that opportunity must be for young schoolgoers here in Rome to be a part of the Global Champions League and have the opportunity to be present here in Circus Maximus and be given what seems to be, I imagine, a guided tour of the course walk, which I think is magnificent. And if I hold the line for just a bit, in fact, I can show you that. A couple of young school kids are now at the in-gate, and they will be given a private walkthrough of the Global Champions League. Here's another look at them. I think this group is next. There's one that's in the in-gate. Talk about memories, core memories for these young show jumping fans. That's wonderful. Maybe we do something with the kids a little bit later on today. For now, though, let's talk about the home team. Let's talk about the Rome Gladiators, powered by Cavalleria Toscana, Nadia Petersteiner, and the young, impressive Yali Cass, sitting down with us to have a conversation about how it feels to host a GCL stage.
Yali, Nadia, welcome to Rome. Welcome home for the Rome Gladiators. Nadia, I'll start with you. Just give us the emotion, give us what it feels like to actually ride for Rome in Rome.
It's always special to ride on the venue of your team. It's nice to be here and be part this weekend. And the city, like Rome is Rome, and there's nothing else to say. I think it's just a pleasure to be here.
And it's all about the team, Nadia. It's been a very different season for the two of you this year, but a good season. Yali, young, upcoming, exciting, the youngest GCL rider ever. And for you, a more experienced role in the team. Is that fair to say? What's it been like in terms of experience for you?
We have a nice team with like Yali as a young rider, as John in the first half of the season, and Peter the second, with so much experience in her life. I'm a little bit in the middle, but we have a team where everybody has his place, and it's a good ambiance and everything together. So we have a good year together.
Yali, what's it been like learning from great riders like Nadia, like John Whittaker and others?
It helps a lot. In the warm-up, when we walk the course, I learn from their experience, and they help me do my best.
What's your experience of Rome been like? What's your highlight of Rome?
There is really nice atmosphere here, especially at the show. I jumped here last year, and the crowd, everything, there is so much atmosphere. It's so nice to be in the arena, and you feel really historic venue.
It is a very historic venue. Away from the show, Nadia, When you're, wandering the streets back to the hotel or hanging out, where's your favourite place to go?
Favorite place, that's difficult to say. I think the whole city is amazing. I was here for the first time last year. We were visiting a little bit, and I think there's so many special places, and it's just an amazing city.
Jali, having lived here, you know the passion of Italy. Passion and Italy go together hand in hand. What are you expecting from the crowd here in Circus Maximus? It could be really quite intense.
Yes, but I love it. I love the pressure, I love the support from the crowd, and I hope I'm gonna make them happy.
So Nadia, a big weekend, home pressure. Do you feel pressure being in Rome?
Oh, we have always a bit pressure riding for a team, not only for ourselves, but I think in the end, once we are on the horse, it's one show like the others, but we try to get as small as possible what needs with the pressure.
In 3 words, can you sum up what Rome Gladiators means to you? Jali, I'll start with you.
Young, passionate, and winners.
Team spirit, experience, and young talent.
If Rome Gladiators win this weekend, it would be a huge outpouring of emotion. It would be a bit of a surprise from this season in the GCL. For Jali, we know it'll have to be gelato to celebrate. Nadia, for you, champagne?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, I'll buy gelato for all the team.
Jali Kass and the incredible Rome Gladiators lineup with Nadia Peter-Steiner. Now, I'm afraid they're not very tall, and I want to take just a moment before going to Dan Strange, but I mentioned some of the school kids that have now come on tour and coming to take a look at Global Champions League, and here they are now being guided around the ring, which I think is absolutely magnificent. They now find themselves walking towards the Longines fence here just behind us. We just talk about wonderful memories being created here in the Global Champions League, wonderful moments and opportunities, and here they all are getting an opportunity to get a private course walk, which I think is remarkable. Speaking of the actual teams that are now going to be jumping, the Mexico Amigos powered by the H5 stables. Let's hear then from Carlos Hank Guerrero standing by with Dan Strange. Dan, let's get some thoughts of Carlos Hank.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. From the school children that aren't the tallest to Carlos Hank Guerrero, who I think is the tallest rider on tour. Carlos, you've walked the course. It's a really intriguing course, this one, because it doesn't look like the most difficult, but there are some interesting nuances. What's your view?
Yeah, exactly. I think Giuliano gave us quite a few options today for the ones that are going to be trying to go a bit faster and going for the class. You already start from 2 to 3 already with an inside option, and then 2 rollbacks to big enough oxers that have not so much space. After 6 AB, you have an inside turn to number 7, and then the double vertical straight after with 5 strides. So I think that's one of the bigger options. And then after that double vertical is another inside turn, which is tight enough to this Global Champions Tour oxer. So I think overall it's quite a fair course. If you do those inside options, it's also going to be tricky enough.
Mexico Amigos, same 2 riders today as you had in Vienna. Confidence high?
Yeah, we have different horses, same 3 riders. We're going to try to make a change for the second round maybe, but hopefully a better result than Vienna.
Thanks, Carlos. Good luck to you and the team. Mark, back over to you in the studio.
Thank you very much, Dan Strange. Thank you very much to Carlos Hank Guerrero, giving us some thoughts on what to expect today in the Global Champions League Round 1. Jumping alongside Eduardo, they will be 8th to go, the 10th ranked Mexico Amigos for today's competition. We are moments away then from officially kicking off GCL Stage 14 here in Circo Massimo, Circus Maximus in Rome. We thank you for joining us on a gorgeous autumn's afternoon in the wonderful Italian capital. We stand by for the first team to be coming out in a few moments' time. I remind you that that is going to be the Stockholm Hearts powered by H&M We Love Horses. Jean Richard and Olivia Philipparts will be the first team to come out. Hans-Dieter Dreyer and Gilles Thomas. We talk about an exciting start to the competition. We remind you that GCL Round 1 is drawn by competition. The competition is drawn by an auto-generated computer. And take a look from a championship perspective what this start list looks like, with Falconsward United in 2nd, CanStars in 4th, and the Shanghai Swans in 6th. So all in the first half of the competition, we will then see the top-ranked chasing teams all fighting for that championship before the break, and then advantage to Prague Lions, who in third place will have the entire rounds to focus and look at how Shanghai Swans jump, at how the Cannes Stars jump, and how Falcons United jump. It is an early advantage to the Prague Lions as Peter de Vos and Fernando Martinez Soma on Jarina and Lady van der Hartenhove respectively will go on to go last. A wonderful, wonderful advantage for the Prague Lions to see how things play out. Only then, based on the performances of GCL Round 1, will the start list for GCL Round 2 then be defined. We stand by and await the start of the competition. Maybe take you through some of the rest of that. Scandinavian Vikings then just before the Prague Lions. Basel Cosmopolitans, we spoke about Marlon Modolo-Zonatelli and Sasha Nygaard. They will be jumping for Basel, who too are still fighting for a GCL Super Cup semi-final place to try and somehow claw their way back into the top 4. Let's see, we once again go back to Dan Strange, maybe for some closing thoughts before we get ready to start. Dan Strange, give us some closing thoughts ahead of GCL Round 1.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Well, I'm in the arena with Angelika Zanatelli. Angelika, you've walked the course. Confidence for Monaco Comets high today?
It's always before you walk the course you wonder what will be any difficult lines and so. But I have to say after walking I feel pretty confident. I really like the course. You have some options where you can go inside or around, leave out a stride here and there. But from walking it looks like a very fair and friendly course. So. I mean, for sure it will be false enough, like always. Many times it looks easy, and then in the end it's not as easy as it looks. But from walking, first impression, very nice course.
When you look at the movement of the course and how they've designed it, it looks like the sort of course where balance is important. But, of course, round 1, time doesn't matter as much because you're not chasing the clock all the time. How does that suit your horse?
Yeah, I need to be a bit aware of the time. Yes, that I don't spend too much time now for getting a time fault. But I do like the course. My horse has a big stride, which I think helps in this course as well for the lines. So from walking, it feels like it will suit my horse, yeah.
We've been speaking a lot to Cannes Stars, obviously. They're second in the championship at the moment. How have you seen the season as going on debut for Monaco Comets? Because obviously Iron Dames have both teams. How have you seen the season from the team that are new to the league, from the team that have had a more difficult season?
Yeah, we have very good riders. We have been a little bit unlucky with the horsepower. Some horses got injured, which of course some of my best horses were injured, which changed also a bit the situation. But now I think we had a few shows that was not great, but we still have a couple of shows left, and we really want to perform. And I think we have a good setup for the last few shows. So yeah, we each show like always, but we will try to do our best and hopefully get some good points this week.
Angelika, thank you so much for your time. I'm just going to actually come over behind Angelika and have a word with her husband Marlon from Basel Cosmopolitan. Sorry to jump in there, Marlon. You've had a look around. Basel in a really interesting position because the chase for the top 4 is still on. What's the conversations in the team?
Yeah, definitely to try to reach that and be focused on each round, to jump clear rounds and try to get better results by the end of the season now.
This season, Basel seem to have always put in good performances in the first round, and obviously in Vienna, 4th place as well. Shall we? How do you aim to convert that into round 2 here?
No, I think most of us riders on this level, like me, Zasha, and so we've sometimes rode fairly young horses on this level, like unexperienced horses. So sometimes we had rounds like me in New York with 2 down. My horse jumped great, but still had 2 down. I think we're getting more and more consistent on that. And yeah, you see Jana is often jumping clear rounds on those rounds with her mare. And I think we just need to be a touch lucky that we bring it together all at once.
I spoke in Riesenbeck to Marlon Bayer-Johnson, and she was saying that H&M Indiana can't stand school children. There's a lot of school children. I know you're a dad of 3 children. I assume your horses are better with kids because they're around them a lot.
They are used to it, playing soccer around the ring and screaming and jumping around and riding their ponies, so hopefully they'll be used to the kids here today.
And when you've looked at the course, you've obviously been and walked. We're right by the 12th fence here, which is really an unusual one because there's not much of a run out afterwards. How have you viewed the course, but the back end of the course, because it really does sort of wave around nicely at the end?
Yeah, he builds often nice courses to ride, very, very friendly to the horses, but always very tricky. You have faults everywhere, and this line definitely is a tricky line. The horses, if they fall into the right here, they know already they are going right, and with the back screen on the back, many horses gets a little bit shy on their jump, and this is a delicate plank, so it could be a lot of faults here.
Marlon, thank you so much for your time. Nuno, come with me a sec, because I'm going to have a quick word with the winners from Vienna. I can see them both here. Peter de Vos, who was late to his winners interview in Vienna, and FMS, who's trying to be late to this interview. Guys, you guys are on flying form, aren't you? You must be really excited for today, surely.
Yeah, I mean, every show is different, so anything can happen, but for sure we want to keep the results up.
You're on Lady in round 1. I was having a look. She's the oldest horse in the class today.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I mean, she's not that old. She's 14, but yeah, good to know.
Peter, thoughts on the course that's been built here? Where is it most difficult?
I think it's like always a little bit. It's not really big, but it's a delicate course. You can have falls everywhere. I think the lines are set a little bit with distances in between here and there. But it's a nice way to start, and then at the end a little bit some difficulties.
This is going to make you two chuckle. We were looking at the supercomputer, as we call it. We've been looking at the chances to win the championship. Prague Lions still have a 10% chance to win the championship. What do you put your late season form down to? Because you really are, even over Riesenbeck, you're the red hot team.
Yeah, I mean, we have a plan for the coming shows. We anyway will be very happy to end up in the top 4, so we will just keep fighting and see the result that comes will be good enough.
Guys, do you reckon you can third win since Valkenswaard possible today?
We like to celebrate after the class. And try to focus now. And
Peter,
hopefully we can do the celebration later on, but not now.
Okay, here's the deal. If you win, you're on time for your interview, yeah?
I will, 100%, okay?
Guys, good luck. Thank you so much, Mark. It's been a really exciting, busy one in the arena here in Rome. Back over to you.
Fighting words from Peter de Vos. If they win, they will only be celebrating later. Keeping his eye on the game, keeping his eye on the ball, as you would say in the world of football. Lady van der Harthoven and Jarina jumping for Fernando Martinez Soma and Peter de Vos. Dan Strange is very, very correct. They are a team in red-hot form. Multiple GCL stage wins this year. Currently inside the top 3, keeping the pressure on the Canstars, keeping the pressure on Valkenswaard United. The Prague Lions, powered by the Czech equestrian team, are a threat to be reckoned with. Can they go on and make it onto a podium again here by the end of the night? Final groundwork being done behind me. Course walk officially wrapped up now. That means that we are moments away from starting today's event. Let's remind you as to where we go from here, because of all this championship talk, it is not just about being here in Rome. We need to cast our eye ahead. We have to focus on what is still to come over the next couple of weeks. Because from Rome, we then head off to Morocco as we broke ground in 2024, moving to the African continent for the very first time in 2024. We will once again return to Rabat next week. That will be the penultimate stage of points earning possibilities for the teams, after which we head to the GCL final. That final stage taking place in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, as Riyadh will once again be the defining moment. The question now becomes, when does a champion get crowned? Is it going to go down to the final day in Riyadh? Will Valkenswaard United win the title before? Will they slip up and Canstars, Prague Lions, Riesenbeck International? So many possibilities, and it is all to be decided here as we get ready for the start of Global Champions League Round 1. We welcome you to the incredible city of Rome. We welcome you to stage 14 of the GCL, which starts next.
And welcome to Rome for the latest stop on the Global Champions Tour. What a glorious place to be in October. This is leg 14 of 16. We're building up to the climax of this captivating season here in Rome. And we've come to the Circus Maximus, and there is just history all around this place. The venue that was seen of sporting drama way back when the Roman Empire ruled the world, but here now we are able to celebrate the best of equestrian sport, not too far away from the famous Colosseum landmark and other many splendid landmarks in this city. So lots to look forward to in terms of competition. The Eternal City is bathed in wonderful October sunshine, and now we are getting ready for the first round of the Global Champions League here in Rome. First, we'll have the individual competitors, of which there are 13 going, and in amongst those, we'll be jumping Uliana Bassani's course, will be some of the best horses around. Liena J is coming out for Martin Fuchs, and really will be expect to be a force to be reckoned with over the weekend. So riders settling down. It's just a magnificent location here. We have so many splendid stops on the tour. Gilles Thomas amongst the riders that come in, who's had a fabulous season, brilliant in New York recently, and some of the other riders taking a look at the course. Henrik von Eckermann, distinctive in his shades, but others taking a good look at the course, which possibly, and one of those there, Edwina Alexander Tops, saying it's a fair course, but you'll need to be as accurate as possible because it's not without its challenges. 155, so not at the maximum height as is traditional here, as we get a lovely shot of the Circus Maximus from our drone above the arena. And here is the starting order, and as I mentioned, some big names coming out: Christian Ahlmann, Martin Fuchs on the aforementioned Liena J, and then we have amongst the others, we have Harry Schmolders, who's been so good on the Global Champions Tour Grand Prix circuit this year. And then number 14, Jane Rickard, is the one that starts the team competition off after we've had these 13. And they're just confirmation, a veritable who's who of show jumping elite riders and indeed horses through. And one young talent there, Jali Kast, just 17 years of age, but making great waves at the moment. Simon de Lest has been in good form, and then look at the final few now. Henrik von Eckermann, Christian Kuckuck will surely be competitive with his team this afternoon. And then with the final group of riders, we end with the Fernando Martinez Sommer and Peter Devos representing the final team. Prague Lions, they will be last to go in the team element. As we look back over the city, for the drone operator, he probably doesn't know where to look because there's a landmark to the left, to the right, and front and backwards for him to zero in on. So it is just as good as it gets in terms of location, as good as it gets in terms of weather, and the scene is set with a good crowd in to enjoy the action here. First of 3 days of action, and getting ready then to begin here in Rome. It will be a young rider to come in very shortly to set the tone and see how the course ride. People watching on, just making sure they get a feel for what is coming up. And in comes Inigo Lopez de la Osa Franco, 22 years of age, and riding Nascar van Siamshof, and had 8 faults in Vienna in this first round as an individual a couple of weeks back. So can he improve on that this afternoon? The course has 3 doubles. I think the one that might be the one that catches it is the third of those, 11A and B, because it's set quite high and a big spread as well. So on the second part of that double. Well, the bell sounds for the first of the 5-star classes to get on. It's the individual aspect of the first round of the Global Champions League. Plenty of money at stake as well. So one round speed is going to be part and parcel so of this competition, where there may be opportunities to cut the odd corner here and there. So we're up and running now. And coming to the first fence, just a routine fence at 150, taking a shorter route back to fence 3, which is just again at 150. And now coming back round to 5, the Prague upright in front of the hospitality section. The first of the doubles then. 150 first part, but unfortunately he's had that first part just in a little bit of shade as well. Flicking that down, turning back to this next fence, 170 with a crisscross top. Now coming back. Now to 10, Liverpool. Now the turn back to this final double. Again, a one-stride double. 150 the first part, but in the second part 150 with a 160 spread. And jumps the second one. So not bad at all for Inigo Lopez de la Osa Franco. And just 4 penalties there, so an improvement on his performance in Rome with his horse, this 12-year-old, Naska Vant Siamsov. And the time of 73.75. Time allowed is 80 seconds. So that was easily achieved. Now I'm sure there'll be plenty of support for the next rider. Part of the Rome Gladiators, but not required in round 1. I refer to Emmanuel Gaudiano, who is coming in. And he is riding Vasco 118, 11-year-old. Turning at the far end of the arena from the in-out gate. Get with a splendid backdrop, and he begins now. First fence is very small by comparison, just 145, just faintly brushes that. Nicely through the first double. Now the second double, again just a one stride. Very straightforward at present, but a couple of fences down, so disappointing in the end. 65.66, so the time is an academic one, so I think we could see some quick clear rounds here. Brushing that second part of the second double, rolling into it. Stands at 155, that second part. So disappointment there for Emmanuel Gaudiano. Next up, one of the experienced riders coming in, Ireland's Dennis Lynch, riding a 10-year-old catch-out, relatively inexperienced mare. ready to begin his round. Looks as if he wants to be quite quick coming to the next. Turning back to the side, the upright, the Prague upright. Clear at present. How quick Emmanuel Gaudiano was. Coming around in 65.66. But catch-up has gone clear for Dennis Lynch in a time of 73.55 seconds. Made it look very effortless indeed. He wasn't really going flat out, but got everything right, and is the first of the clear rounds. Well, looked like having the fence down, so happy days for Dennis. Next up, another of the vastly experienced competitors coming into the arena, and it is the German rider Christian Allmann, and he is riding Clint Trexo, 16-year-old experienced horse. Christian just taking one last look at possible lines, impassive features, part of the Shanghai Swans setup. Katarina Romberg and Max Kuhner will be representing them in the first round. Nice work. Big short turn there to the third fence. Easily through that. Takes a shorter route to number 7. So he's looking for a quick time. Dennis Lynch's time is, without question, vulnerable here. In short here to get round to the double at 11A and B. And coming to the final fence, easily over, pops that, quick time. 65.30. Shows what's possible. Very good round indeed. Plenty of short turns there to make sure that he's posted a marker as far as the individual element of this first round of the Global Champions League is concerned, because, as I mentioned, decent prize money up for grabs for this class, and Christian Allmann has put himself in position to get a piece of that here this afternoon with his experienced performer. Now, next up, it is Zoe Hanconta riding La Una. She is a 4-star Grand Prix winner at this height. And La Una, a 14-year-old bay mare. So 65.30, the quick time. He was actually quicker than Emmanuel Gaudano by nearly 0.4 of a second. He remains clear. But not there, just didn't get the elevation. So first fence down for Zoe here. Still just with the ball, but that's shown not a bad time in terms of speed, 67.06, and again without having to go flat out. So there really is opportunities here for one of the combinations to post a very quick time. But when it comes to the team competition, there will be team considerations to be concerned about. Lots at stake as far as the teams competition. Teams vying for the final four to get straight through to the semi-final. Valkenswaard United looking to consolidate their position at the top as we again get another lovely view back across the city from Andra. Now from Chile, it is Jorge Matacapdevila, the Scandinavian Vikings setup, and he's riding the Mescorial PS. Ooh, just spooked at that, didn't want to know. Is he going to put his hand up? Yes, I think. Just took a shortish turn to that, and then horse didn't want to know. So coming back towards it now. And this time, plenty of air over it. Unfortunately, that fence is down too. Further blemishes to his scorecard. So that refusal at fence 3 plus another fence down means that there were time penalties to add to those two, so 91.34 is time, 20 penalties for Jorge Matacapdevila. Well, now one of, as we look at the problems that Jorge Mata had at that and then subsequently number 4 coming down. So a disappointing round, but now coming into the arena, one of the great combinations in the sport. And they've been so successful over recent years, and it's Martin Fuchs, and he's riding Leona J. And obviously we'll have Grand Prix on his mind with this fabulous gelding. Maybe this just is a warm-up. Such a consistent performer at the highest level, and just looking perhaps not going flat out, just getting a horse comfortable. Hasn't been over competed recently, but has been competing in some of the big competitions. Fabulous to see this horse here. Very easy, jumping at 155. Never looks like having anything down through the double, coming to the final fence. The time is academic because, well, just inside the 80 seconds, but nearly designed with the Grand Prix in mind. We have a second round, which is actually, as a qualifier as well, the top 40, and you'd expect Leona J to qualify amongst the top 4 Sunday's Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix. But just a lovely, smooth round from the brilliant horse, making it look very straightforward indeed. Now we come to another of the local riders, and it is Nico Lupino, and he is riding Chicandro. So can he give the local crowds something to celebrate here with a good round? And he's on his way. Six-year-old. Unfortunately, it falls down, so disappointing. Coming to the final fence. 73.40 the time there for Nico Lupino, but unfortunately those 4 faults not early part of the round. Fence 3 turning back round. Well, we've seen a refusal there, so just depends how tight you make the turn. Well, next up from Germany, it is Michael Viveg. And he is riding Amelie, a 10-year-old bay mare. Time to beat that of Christian Amon if you just joined us, 65.30. A smooth as silk round of jumping from the great Christian Ahlmann, setting the marker for the individual aspect of this first round of the Global Champions League here in Rome. As Michael gets through the first two fences, just brushes that third fence, the Liverpool. Stays clear. So the quickest. So far so good. 3 more jumping efforts this double. She's through and coming to the final fence, and it's the third quickest clear round so far. The clear round's coming from Christian Ahlmann at 65.30, then a big gap back to Dennis Lynch at 73.55, and Michael 75.13, and Martin Fuchs just dusting off the cobwebs, you feel, with Liena J, but still made it look very easy inside the time. And so we are heading to our next competitor, and looks very pleased with that little quiet clench of the fist from Michael, and it was a good round. Well, next up, a bit of a winning machine on the tour, and Harry Schmolders is next in. He's riding Divino VD Verathabak Z, a 9-year-old grey, a horse bringing on. Didn't go too well in the first round in Vienna. Can they improve things here? That fence is a tricky one, it seems, that turn back. It's catching 1 or 2 out. I'm sure it'll be noticed by the team riders when we begin that. We've just got 3 more to come after this, so there will be some thoughts there. Watch that turn back to 3 as Harry continues on. Unfortunately, the first part of the second double has lost rhythm going into it. So at 8 now for Harry on this young horse. Now to the final fence. Well, an improvement on Vienna, but I'd be pleased to see that. But it's fence 3 that's catching them out, and then being the first part of the double for Harry with 8 penalties. 3 more combinations to come forward. Niels Brunsils, Pier Giorgio Bucci, and Eduardo Alvarez Aznar. Those are the 3 more to come in. Then we'll have a short break before we get ready for the team aspect of the Global Champions opening day here, first round. So Neil riding Credibilis van Lindenhof, 11-year-old bay mare. 65.30, the time to beat for these individual competitors. Oh, another one's had it done. So that's the bogey fence of the first group of riders, this being the 11th rider to come forward. Ooh, ducking and diving there. Just wanted to head to the in-out gate, so he took the long route round, but he's regrouped as Niels here. And here's the first part of that double down, and finishes in a time of 79.15, but it unraveled a bit towards the end with 3 penalties. Having the first part of the double, and that third fence at Liverpool is the tricky one. So he'll be disappointed with that one, Niels, but now another of the Italian riders here. And it's Pier Giorgio Bucci coming in. He's riding Palio Vidi and Ranch. 10-year-old grey, experienced campaigner. On his way. Made a bit of a hash of that again, so fence 3 is a real issue. I'm sure the teams will be taking stock. The option to either go round the fence that will be used later. We'll take it short from the second. Coming to the final fence, which pops nicely enough and inside the time, 79.20, but unfortunately another one's had fence 3 done, and so that time so next we have coming in the final individual competitor. Is Eduardo Alvarez Aznar, part of the Madrid in Motion team, who actually a hat-trick seeking here this afternoon. They've won the last 2 editions of the Global Champions League here in Rome. So Eduardo Alvarez Aznar gets ready. And begins on Gibraltar Via Rose. Has Eduardo learnt what's been going on before at this fence? Yes. Your 9-year-old. Again, educational purposes almost, but so far clear. Oh no, just not two-stride double catching his horse out. Opting for the shorter turn back there to the final double. And well inside the time, but 4 penalties added with that 1 fence down. But Christian Ahlmann has shown what is possible, and to set the mark there for Eduardo, that second part of the double causing him the problem, and confirmation that Christian Ahlmann has produced a really quick time and shows what is possible here around this course. As we get ready for the team competition. And let's just confirm the individual standings. As I mentioned, Christian Ahlmann over 8 seconds quicker than his nearest rival, Dennis Lynch, catcher. And then Michael Veywick looks very pleased. Well, he was very pleased with his round, but nearly 10 seconds slower. But Christian Ahlmann has set the tone in terms of pace, and there's just confirmation of the other scores for the other individual competitors here in this Global Champions League round 1. Well, that's it for the time being. We'll be back very shortly to begin the Global Champions League round 1, and join us for that. Stockholm Hearts leading the way. Welcome to Rome. We are here for the 14th of 16 legs on the Global Champions League. We're ready for round one in the Eternal City. What a backdrop. Famous landmarks all around us here at the Circus Maximus. That's where we are in what is one of the great locations on the Global Champions Tour. There is nothing better. Circus Maximus, scene of great sporting endeavour back in the day, but now equine endeavour here for 3 days of high-class competition. And we're getting ready for the first round. We're a stone's throw away from the Colosseum, and the weather is absolutely perfect. 24 degrees in October. What more could you want? And so the spectators here are going to enjoy perfect sunny conditions, perfect food as well, tucking in the hospitality area and elsewhere around this iconic venue. Looking back at the warm-up area, but we're ready. There's a lot at stake now within the Global Champions League as teams vie for position. If basically any of the top 7 could secure the top 4 spot. And look back at the winners now. Madrid in Motion, hat-trick seeking, having won in 2023 and in 2024. Shanghai Swans and Prague Lions, former winners here as well. But Madrid in Motion on a three-peat mission here in Rome. And Michael van der Vleuten and Victor Bettendorf will be steering the Madrid in Motion ship through the first round. And obviously expectations on them. Madrid in Motion currently 6th in the standings, and a good win here could put them higher up there and maybe move into that top 4 spot. But Valkenswaard United have been brilliant. They're leading the way. Then it is Cannes Stars and Prague Lions and also Shanghai Swans looking, and probably Basel Cosmopolitans, the final team, who will have aspirations maybe. But now let's take a look at the course that has been set here. And from the individual aspect, there's one fence that they've got to be mindful of as we take a look from the start. There's a routine fence to begin with on Uliana Vazani's course, just a 145 and a 145 spread, just to loosen up. Then a relatively straightforward upright at 150, the Longines fence. But it's this turn back to 3 that is causing some riders some issues, as they just seem to get it wrong, because there is a short route there, then moving across to 4, and now we turn back down to the side of the arena, the Prague upright at 150, and then there's a run to a 5-stride run to the first of the 3 doubles, and coming to it, the first part 150 and with a 150 spread, then it's 1 stride and then to a 150 upright, and then that's fence 6, and then it's looking where we're maybe looking at time, where they could perhaps cut in, turning back to 7. Quite a imposing looking fence as they come through and heading on and still going and coming to this next double, which is one that has caught some out. And as they continue on their way and looking towards the final stages of the course, it shouldn't really catch too many out as they come to this one. But then there's another turn back to 11A and B. Now, this could also, has just been a little trappy for 1 or 2 as they come round to it, because it's a shorter distance than the first double. So just got to make sure you keep the momentum going. It's 150 first, and then it's a 150 and 160 spread. So that means you've got to keep the momentum as they come towards the end of the round. And then there's a gallop onto the final upright, fence 12. So 12 obstacles, 15 jumping efforts. Time allowed is 80 seconds. Very routine, it has to be said, in terms of what has gone before. And so I'd have to say, as the time should be academic, But here's the starting order. We kick off with the Stockholm Hearts, Jane Richard and Olivia Philipparts leading, and then the Valkenswaard United, top of the pops and the standings, and the combination to be feared, Hans-Dieter Dreher and Gilles Thomas. Next up, Paris Path has been a struggle in 2025, but Clara Pizzozzi and Guido Grimaldi representing them. Next up, Cannes Stars, solid season. Sophie Hinners and Katrin Eckermann riding for the Cannes Stars. New York Empire, Robert Murphy from Great Britain and Ireland's Bertram Allen representing New York Empire. Next up, Shanghai Swans, Katharina Romberg and Max Kuhner. He's riding Julius Caesar, seems appropriate here. Rome Gladiators, next up. High expectations on there, Nadja Peter-Steiner and the Wonder Kid, Yali Kaus at 17 years of age. Next up, Mexico Amigos. They are Carlos Hanguero and Eduardo Pereira de Menez. Next up, Madrid in Motion, looking for that three-peat. Michael van der Vleuten and Victor Bettendorf are in charge there. Then we next up have the Istanbul Warriors of Simon Deleste and Henrik von Eckermann. They surely must be competitive here this afternoon. And the way the Riesenbeck International have been going recently, you expect Max Wieshout and Christian Kuckuck to be a formidable duo in this first round. Then Duarte Seabra and Gregory Cottard representing the Saint-Tropez Pirates. Monaco Commons with Edwina Tops-Alexander and Angelica Augustin Zanatelli. Then the Doha Falcons, they'll be looking for a decent result. It's not quite gone their way. Sheikh Alec Khalid Al-Talnan and Bassem Mohammed. His horse is in good form at present. Then we see the next up, Basel Cosmopolitans, Marlon Modolov Zanatelli and Sasha Nygaard. Scandinavian Vikings are represented by Lara Treba and Amanda Landenblad. And then finally, Prague Lions, again, been in good nick recently. We have Fernando Martinez Sommer and Peter Devos. The duo in action in this first round. So, we're getting ready for this, and class and the Stockholm Hearts have come in with first up Jane Ricard riding Aquitas VH Bagarov, and his 10-year-old. So can she get the Stockholm Hearts off to a good start? Olivia Philipparts also has been in terrific action for his team. The best result for the Stockholm Hearts this season was third in Monaco, but the Swiss rider is the one charged with getting the team off to a strong start. So here we go. It's round 14 of the Global Champions League here in Rome, and we're underway with round one. Stockholm Hearts, powered by H&M We Love Horses, begin. Now let's see where this turn back to 3 is for Jane, no problem at all. Staying clear at present is the first double. There is an opportunity to cut inside that. We have seen combinations do that. Jane attempting going the longer route, but she's certainly not hanging around. That's a shorter turn back now to come to this double. 11A. This is a good round. And a good solid start there. 71.72. Clear round. We know it's possible to go really quick round here. 65.30 was set by Christian Ullmann earlier, but that was a good round. Horse very willing there, this 10-year-old gelding, getting them off to a really good start for the Stockholm Hearts. Of course, really not only the individual aspect, but also team order, where you go. So if there's, I feel we might have some double clears, but it'll be about time. So Olivier Philipparts, and he's riding H&M Miro. Has won on the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix circuit with this horse. So, looking at the setting the tone, and he stays clear. Into 5. Shorter turn back there. Easily through the double. Setting the tone definitely for the team aspect of this Global Champions League today, popping this final fence, and that is a very good time indeed. And although just having one fence down in the end, 65.58, frustrating, and a little bit of disappointment as well, because that's a good time, but it did look as if he'd been going really well, but a look of slight frustration.
A late fence falling for Olivier Philipparts, and H&M Miro takes Stockholm Hearts just inches away from a double clear in GCL round 1. Jean Richard with a wonderful clear to start. So Stockholm get us underway with a 4. Next in the ring, the current championship leaders. Falcons Ride United, Hans-Dieter Dreyer and Gilles Thomas make their way into the ring. How important is this round for their championship ambitions? They want to put the pressure immediately on the Canstars and the Shanghai Swans, who are to come in the first half of today's field. If you want to watch the rest of the GCL live from Rome, sign up for a GCTV Live Pass and come join us at Circus Maximus.